Friends, in this video we would be learning how to derive the expression for electric potential due to a dipole at any general point P. Friends, in the earlier video we have seen how electric potential due to a dipole can be obtained at its axial position and at its equatorial position. Friends, if you haven't watched the same, would recommend you to click on the top right hand corner I button and find the link over there. You can find the same link in the description box also. So friends, here you can see that we have been given an electric dipole. Dipole basically being a combination of two equal and opposite charges. So here you can see we have got a negative charge minus Q, and here I have got a positive charge plus Q. So we have got a combination of two equal and opposite charges separated by a very small distance 12. And we are interested in finding out electric potential at some point P, which happens to be situated at any general distance R from the midpoint. Can you see, friends? This happens to be the midpoint of the electric dipole. So at a distance R from the midpoint of the electric dipole at an angle theta from the axis of the dipole. And it is assumed over here that the distance R happens to be quite large. So the point P is situated at a far off distance from the electric dipole. So let's see how one can find out the electric potential at this general point P. Friends, in order to find the electric potential at this point P, I would once again be asking you all very few basic questions that we have learned in our previous classes. If anybody hasn't gone through, I would recommend you to please go on and look into the playlist of electric potential, so as all the discussion over here starts making sense to all of you. So friends, the first question that is there in front of you is to state the expression of V due to any point charge, and you have to tell me whether this electric potential is going to be a scalar quantity or a vector quantity. Pause the video, think about it, write down in your copy. Probably we must have done the same. So friends, from our earlier discussion we know that the potential due to any point charge is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R, where Q happens to be the magnitude of source charge, because of which we are trying to find out the potential, and R happens to be the distance between the source charge and the point where the potential needs to be found. Distance between the source charge and point P where the potential needs to be calculated. Now friends, you should also understand that potential is a scalar quantity, but it is given with a plus and a minus sign. The potential is written with a plus sign whenever we are talking about potential due to a positive charge, and potential is written with a negative sign whenever we are talking about potential for a negative charge. Let's move on to the next. Second question says that in the given figure, the figure that you have got, you need to find out the distance BP. Which distance that we are interested in finding out? This distance BP, that is from positive charge to the point P, and AP, which happens to be the distance from negative charge to the point P. So friends, we need to find out these two distances. So let's do a little bit of trigonometry over here and geometry over here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop a perpendicular from point P, from point B onto MP, okay? And you already know M is the midpoint of AB distance, so this distance will be L and this distance will also be L. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop a perpendicular from point B onto MP. Let's say this point, the foot of the perpendicular as C. Then in this triangle, which triangle? In triangle MCB, it is a right angle triangle, friends. So this angle is 90 degree, while this angle happens to be theta. Then the side opposite to 90 degree will be your hypotenuse. So hypotenuse happens to be MB, isn't it? And angle rests on the side CM. So base happens to be CM. And using the trigonometrical ratio, I can say cos theta is equals to base upon hypotenuse, which is CM upon BM, and that comes out to be CM upon L. Therefore, distance CM is equals to L cos theta, friend. I hope the mathematics is clear over here. Now if you see in this triangle, that is triangle BCP, this side and this side will be approximately equal. Why? Because point P is far off situated. So this MP and MB, in which this much distance is, if they can be taken out, then these 2 points can be approximately equal. So I can say that BP must be approximately equal to CP, as P is far off situated point, and CP is nothing but MP minus MC. Now what is MP? Remember, MP was R. And what is MC? That is L cos theta. We have just now calculated over here, isn't it? So BP comes out to be R minus L cos theta, friends. Now let's try to find out distance AP. In order to find AP, let's drop a perpendicular from point A onto PM extended. So this was the point P, this is the point M, and what I am doing, I am extending this PM extended. So this is PM extended. So what I am doing, I am dropping a perpendicular from point A onto PM extended, and let's say the foot of the perpendicular happens to be the point B over here, friends. Now you already learned that this angle was theta. It was already taken as theta. If this angle is theta, then this angle will also be theta. Why, beta? Why this angle will be theta? Just try to answer this. This angle will be theta because these two angles are vertically opposite angles. This angle is vertically opposite to this angle. So this angle will also be theta. Now since this angle is theta, and you already know that this distance is L, and this angle is 90 degree, then I can say triangle AMD, or triangle rather MAD, is a right angled triangle. Okay, in which AM is the hypotenuse, because 90 degree, the side opposite to 90 degree is always a hypotenuse in a right angle triangle. So this is 90 degree angle, friends. So the side opposite to 90 degree will be hypotenuse. So AM happens to be the hypotenuse of this triangle, and this angle theta rests on the side MB. So DM happens to be my base. Then using the trigonometrical ratio, I can say cos theta is equals to base upon hypotenuse, and base being DM, hypotenuse being AM, and cos theta then will eventually be DM upon AM, which is nothing but L. Therefore DM comes out to be L cos theta. Is that okay, friends? Now I am interested in finding out distance AP. Now look to this triangle. In this triangle, this AP distance is approximately equal to DP distance. Because P is a far off point, then AP will be approximately equal to DP. So I can say that AP is approximately equal to DP. But if you look to DP, DP is nothing but DM plus MP combined. DP is nothing but DM plus MP combined. What is DM, friends? DM we have already calculated as L cos theta. So let me put it as L cos theta, and MP was nothing but R. So you get DP as R plus L cos theta, which makes AP also to be equal to R plus L cos theta. Since DP is R plus L cos theta and AP was approximately equal to DP, therefore AP also equals to R plus L cos theta. Isn't it, friend? So this is what we have got. We got AP as R plus L cos theta, and we got BP as R minus L cos theta. Now friend, these two results we are going to keep it over here for our further discussion. So we have got AP and BP. So BP is now R minus L cos theta, and AP we have got it as R plus L cos theta. BP as R minus L cos theta and AP as R plus L cos theta. Friends, let's move on to the next question and see what that suggests us. Next question says we need to find out the potential due to this negative charge and due to the positive charge, friends. Now, potential due to negative charge, let's find out that first, the expression for the potential due to the negative charge. Now, potential due to the negative charge is always written with a minus sign. So, minus 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, the magnitude of the charge, that is Q, upon the distance. What is the distance then? That is AP. Now you have already calculated AP, isn't it? So your result will be minus 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon, and what is AP, friends? R plus L cos theta. Now similarly you can write down the potential due to the positive charge. So potential due to the positive charge, friends, will be equal to plus 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon BP. And what is BP? We have just now calculated. That came out to be R minus L cos theta. So the result due to the positive charge becomes 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R minus L cos theta. So friends, we have got the potential due to the negative charge also and potential due to a positive charge also. Let's move on to the next problem. The next problem says we need to determine the net electric potential at point P. So net potential, friends, V net is the algebraic sum of potential due to negative charge and potential due to positive charge, isn't it? What is the potential due to negative charge? That is minus 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R plus L cos theta. And what is the potential due to positive charge? That is positive, yani plus 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q upon r minus L cos theta. So let's try to solve it out. Q upon 4 pi epsilon naught is common in both the expression, friend. So what I am going to do, I am going to take Q upon 4 pi epsilon naught outside in then the bracket, and I will have minus 1 upon R plus L cos theta plus 1 upon R minus L cos theta in a bracket. Let's go for further simplification of the expression, friends. So V net is equals to Q upon 4 pi epsilon naught we have taken outside, bracket open, 1 upon R minus L cos theta minus 1 upon R plus L cos theta. What I have done, I have just rearranged the term, friends. Go ahead along with me with your answers copies, then only you will be able to get to this expression. Q upon 4 pi epsilon naught, bracket open. Let's take the LCM. This is A minus B, this is A plus B. So A minus B into A plus B, R minus L cos theta multiplied by, friends, R plus L cos theta. And then in the numerator part, this goes on this. So R plus L cos theta minus, and this goes on this numerator, on this side numerator. So R minus L cos theta, friends. Rearranging the term, it becomes Q upon 4 pi epsilon naught R plus L cos theta minus R minus minus plus L cos theta on the numerator part, and in the denominator you can see this is A minus B and A plus B. So this eventually will be A square minus B square. So it will be, remember, friends, from algebra you had A plus B into A minus B as A square minus B square. So this will become R square minus L square cos square theta. Now this R and this R cancels out. So I get the net result V net as Q into L cos theta plus L cos theta gives me 2L cos theta upon 4 pi epsilon naught R square minus L square cos square theta. Now, as we are talking about dipole, you should know that dipole is not defined in terms of charge or the distance. Dipole is defined in terms of a term called as dipole moment, that is denoted with symbol P. So P is equals to Q into 2L. So in the numerator part, friends, you can see that V net can then be written as Q into 2L into cos theta upon 4 pi epsilon naught R square minus L square cos square theta. Now Q into 2L is nothing but P. So what I am doing, I am substituting this Q into 2L, or I am replacing this Q into 2L as P into cos theta upon 4 pi epsilon naught R square minus L square cos square theta. Friend, this result happens to be the result for any general point due to a dipole. So here I have got the net potential, V net potential for any general point due to a dipole. Now if it is a short dipole, friends, then now what was the result that we have found out for V net was P cos theta upon 4 pi epsilon naught R square minus L square cos square theta. Now if it is a short dipole, then R is definitely greater than L. or you can say L is very small than R. Then L square will be further very smaller than R square. And in that situation, R square minus L square cos square theta can then be written as simply R square. So the result can then be V net is equals to P cos theta upon 4 pi epsilon naught R square. So this is a electric potential due to a short dipole at any general point. So this happens to be the expression for electric potential due to a short dipole. Now friends, in vector form, the same result can be written as in vector form. Suppose this result has been asked for you to be expressed in vector form, then what you should do? Then V net can be written as, what I am going to do, I am going to multiply the numerator and denominator by R. So, P cos theta upon 4 pi epsilon naught R square, multiplying this expression by R also and this expression by R also. So what I get? In the numerator I get P into R cos theta upon 4 pi epsilon naught R cube. Now P is the dipole moment vector and R happens to be the radius vector. Radius vector is the vector which is directed from the midpoint of the dipole to the point P where the electric field is to be found out. I am just drawing the diagram over here, friends. If you remember, this was my negative charge, this is my positive charge, this is the axis of the dipole, and the point P is situated over here. Let me mark this as the point M, the midpoint, and then I am interested in finding out the electric field at some point this P. Now, the dipole moment vector is directed from negative charge to the positive charge. So this becomes my dipole moment vector, this is P. And this vector from the midpoint to this point R, this happens to be my radial vector or the radius vector R. And this angle was theta, friends. So this is nothing but this V net can then be written as P dot R, because the dot product of P and R will give me PR cos theta upon 4 pi epsilon naught R cube. So this becomes the expression for net potential due to a short dipole in vector form. In boards or in council, you should be able to derive up till this point. That is what is more important, friends. So friends, this is what is the expression for electric potential at any general point due to a dipole. Though the mathematics of this particular derivation is little complicated, but this is what is generally given in most of the book. Friends, the method that we just now discussed involved mathematical steps, which makes the derivation of the expression little complicated, and students feel the difficulty in learning such steps. So what I am going to do now, I am going to share with you all a bonus method for determining the electric potential due to any dipole at point X, which is situated at a distance R from the midpoint of the dipole at an angle theta. Now friends, in order to understand this method, I would like you to recall two expressions of electric potential. One electric potential due to a dipole at its axial position or end-on position, another electric expression for the electric potential at its equatorial position or broadside on position. Friends, if you haven't learned the derivation or if you haven't gone through with that derivation, I would recommend you to click on the top right hand corner. You will find the link of that derivation. First go and watch that video and then come back and go through with this part of the derivation. Now I am going to directly state the result that we have derived in that particular expression. So friends, the electric potential due to any dipole at some axial position is given by the potential at axial position due to a dipole is V is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught P upon R square. And similarly, the expression for potential at equatorial position due to a dipole is V axial and V equatorial is 0. So friends, these two equations I would like you to remember, and if you haven't seen the derivation, please go and see the same. Now friends, you should also remember that every dipole is defined in terms of dipole moment. Dipole is never defined in terms of charge or the distance. Dipole is always defined in terms of dipole moment. What is a dipole moment? Dipole moment, often denoted by the symbol small p, happens to be the product of magnitude of the charge and the distance between the two charges. So Q happens to be the magnitude of the charges. Here you can see it's capital Q, so you can use the capital Q. And what is the distance between the two charges? The distance between the two charges happens to be 2L. Now this becomes the dipole moment. This is the magnitude of charges. Any charge, because dipole is formed by two equal and opposite charges. So magnitude of any charge will do. Remember, dipole moment is going to be a vector quantity. It's a vector quantity, and whose sense of direction is directed from? Sense of direction is directed from negative charge to positive charge. So friends, here you can see I have got a dipole whose negative charge is minus q situated at position A and whose positive charge is plus q situated at position B. The distance between them is 2L. Can you see this distance? That is given as 2L. M happens to be the midpoint. So its dipole moment P will be directed from the negative charge to the positive charge. So friend, this happens to be the dipole moment P of this particular dipole. Now, if you see friends, this dipole moment P makes an angle theta with this line mx. Can you see this line mx? Okay, the dipole moment P makes an angle theta with the line mx. Now, P being a vector quantity, it's making some angle with the line mx, so I can resolve P into its component. One component will be P cos theta, while the other component will be P sin theta. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to resolve P into its component along mx. So this will be, I'm resolving P, so this will become my P cos theta. I've resolved P into its component. Now this component happens to be P cos theta. Now this P cos theta can be considered as the dipole moment of another dipole A1 B1. So can you see over here, I've got another dipole and I'm calling it as A1 B1, whose dipole moment is P cos theta. Now, with reference to this dipole A1 B1, point X happens to be its axial point. So what I have done, I am repeating once again, I have resolved P into its component P cos theta along MX line, and thus I have got another dipole A1 B1 with a dipole moment P cos theta. Friends, now the expression for electric potential at point X. What I am doing? I am going to obtain expression for electric potential, at X due to dipole A1 B1 will be Vx, I'm calling it as X, is equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. Now see friends, for this dipole A1 B1, point X becomes its axial line, because this is the axis of A1 B1 and X happens to lie on its axial line. So I will be using this particular result. So this result will be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught P cos theta upon R square. Let me call this result as equation number 3. Is this clear to all of you friends? So what I have done, मैं एक बार उसको फिर से रिपीट करता हूं. AB was my original dipole or P was my original dipole moment. Now what I have done, मैंने इस P dipole moment को रिजॉल्व किया, किसके along? इस लाइन MX के along रिजॉल्व किया और इसका एक कंपोनेंट निकाला, वो क्या बना? P cos थीटा. इस P cos थीटा के लिए ये पॉइंट X कैसा बन गया? ये पॉइंट X बन गया उसका एक्सियल पोजीशन, क्योंकि A1 B1 डाइपोल के लिए जो ये P cos थीटा है, जो P cos थीटा का डाइपोल है, उसके लिए पॉइंट X उसकी एक्सिस के अलॉन्ग लाई कर रहा है, इसलिए ये जो पॉइंट X है वो उसकी एक्सियल पोजीशन है और उस एक्सियल पोजीशन के लिए मैंने एक्सप्रेशन लिखा इलेक्ट्रिक पोटेंशियल का और वो निकल के आया, Vx की वैल्यू निकल के आई 1 अपॉन 4 पाई एप्सिलॉन नॉट P cos थीटा अपॉन R स्क्वायर. ये बात क्लियर है? अब मैं P के दूसरे कंपोनेंट की बात करूंगा. एक तो ये हो गया जो MX लाइन के लॉन्ग था. अब मैं इस MX लाइन के परपेंडिकुलर दूसरा कंपोनेंट मिलेगा मुझे और इस कंपोनेंट को मैं कहूंगा P sin थीटा. तो फ्रेंड्स, मैंने P को उसके दो करस्पॉन्डिंग कंपोनेंट्स में तोड़ा. एक कंपोनेंट बना P cos थीटा, दूसरा कंपोनेंट बन रहा है P sin थीटा. अब ये जो P sin थीटा कंपोनेंट है, ये किसी तीसरे या डाइपोल की तरह से इमेजिन किया जा सकता है. उस डाइपोल को मैं कह रहा हूं A2B2. तो अब तुम देख सकते हो तुम लोग कि A2B2 is another dipole whose dipole moment is P sin theta, and for this particular dipole point X happens to be lying on its equatorial line. क्योंकि friends, this now happens to be the axis of the dipole. Can you see this line? This becomes my axis of the dipole A2B2 and this X is perpendicular to X lying onto the perpendicular line of A2B2. So what will be the expression for electric potential at X due to dipole A2B2? Friends, remember, for A2B2 point X is is equatorial point. So you already know that the electric field due to any dipole at its equatorial point happens to be 0. So Vx due to this one, V dash x due to this one will be 0. What is V dash x? It is the electric potential due to second dipole or due to dipole A2B2 at point x. So at point x I have got two electric potential. One due to dipole A1B1, another due to dipole A2B2. And these two dipoles were obtained by resolving our original dipole AB. So the net potential at point x. So V net at x will be sum of Vx, that is equation number 3, plus V dash x. What is Vx? Vx we have found as 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught P cos theta upon r square, friends. So this becomes 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught P upon r square, friends. Sorry, P cos theta upon r square, friends. And what is V dash x? That is 0. So the net potential at point x comes out to be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught P cos theta upon r square. So that is what was the expression we have derived in the previous part also, isn't it? So here you find it little less amount of mathematics getting involved in order to obtain the net potential. Hope this method would be easier in comparison to the earlier part, and it will make you easy to learn and remember for your examination. Friends, thank you for watching. Don't forget to give a like और comment. अगर अभी तक आपने मेरे इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो प्लीज डू द सेम. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so that whenever a new video is loaded, you get the notification. Take care, and we will meet back again with a new video and a new solution. Thank you, friends.